Now in the ReliefFactor.com studios, sitting in for Mike today, here's Joey Hudson.
Then kind of had a back and forth with Karine Jean-Pierre during the White House press briefing yesterday, as the two of them had different opinions of what certain polls mean. Rosen called the White House out on the idea that they love to promote polls that are favorable to Joe Biden, but when the poll is unfavorable, they discount it. They toss it to the side. We'll jump into that. It was an interesting exchange between the two yesterday. And did Argentina's elections this past weekend mean anything to us? Is that a signal of how people literally around the world are feeling about our life today? You have a socialist country like Argentina electing a conservative. Javier Milei won the president's race. He won by vowing to slash taxes and spending, to ditch the central bank, to dollarize Argentina's currency, privatize state industries, and shrink the government by axing useless ministries. He literally campaigned around the country carrying a chainsaw. He carried the chainsaw as an example of how he was going to use it to cut government spending and to cut wasteful agencies. One of such that he targeted was the Agency for Women, Genders, and Diversity. He ran on the idea that he will completely eliminate this unneeded agency. Is this a glimpse of what could possibly happen in our presidential election in 2024? Are Americans feeling the same way as people in Argentina? I kind of think they are. You agree? 800-655-MIKE, 800-655-6453 is how you join the conversation with me today, and I hope that you will. You can send me a quick text on the MyPillow text line. You can call, obviously, when you choose option 1. Tracy will put you in queue. We'll talk as time permits. Choose option 2 if you'd like to just leave a quick voice message. And I love your emails. Email me, joey@joeyhudson.com. By the way, while you're doing that, subscribe to my podcast as well. Just the Truth. I do deep dives into issues that are important to you and me, and I'd love for you to come along on that journey with me. Just go to joeyhudson.com. Or you can text Joey to our MyPillow text line. Just text my name, Joey, to 800-655-6453. I'll send you a link and love to have you join my podcast. So is Joe Biden about to turn his back on Israel? So far, Biden has supported Israel defending itself against the horrible terrorist attack from Hamas. But the pressure is building. The pressure is building as demonstrators all around the country are crashing Democrat conventions. For example, this past weekend, in Sacramento, California, the Democrat Party kind of got rattled when nearly 1,000 anti-Israel protesters disrupted their convention. Demonstrators reportedly barged into the Safe Credit Union Convention Center in Sacramento, opened doors, and let other people come in to the point that they had to cancel some of their meeting. Sherry Yang, the communications director of the California Democrat, said, due to the circumstances beyond our control and for the safety and security of our delegates and convention participants, we are canceling tonight's caucus meetings, hospitality suites, and the Vote Fest taking place at the convention center. Protesters reportedly marched around the center with Free Palestine signs, chanting for a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip, criticizing President Joe Biden over his administration's support of Israel and its fight against Hamas after the terrorist attacks. Now, I don't know how you live in America and you support the Palestinians like this. But looking at some of the video footage of these protests, these people are adamant that our country should not be supporting Israel. At one particular event, a U.S. Senate candidate forum, protesters staged a sit-in, and a small group disrupted Representative Adam Schiff and Katie Porter, who have not called for a Gaza ceasefire like some of the other Democrats have. Naomi Goldman, a Democrat for Israel California board member, said that she was eagerly anticipating meaningful comments from my party on hate speech and violence targeting the Jewish community, adding, as well as a total denunciation of what delegates did to disrupt our assembly and how it will ensure safe, inclusive spaces for everyone who hold a diversity of opinions. It's kind of interesting that the Democrat Party, the party who promotes diversity, promotes that everyone's ideas and thoughts should be protected, yet it looks like they're about to turn their back on those Americans who support Israel, including their party's president. By the way, American voters across party lines support more funding to bolster security at our southern border, while support for foreign countries that are embroiled in some of these conflicts, particularly Ukraine, and this poll was done by NBC News. The survey finds that roughly 3 in 4 registered voters, 74%, support more funding for security along our U.S. border and our Mexico, the southern border with Mexico, including 93% of Republicans, 74% of independents, and even 58% of Democrats believe that rather than sending money to Ukraine, we should beef up security and truly close our border. That's part of the problem. The Biden administration doesn't believe there's a crisis. Alejandro Mayorkas still says that our border is secure. And Vice President Kamala Harris, who's the border czar, hasn't done anything. Democrat pollster Jeff Horwitz of Hart Research Associates said, broadly, Americans are on the side of Israel, but there are huge divisions by generation here, including on providing more funding for humanitarian aid to Gaza and more funding and military aid to Israel, respectively. Americans still want more money to bolster security at our border as well, he says. The poll finds that Democrats are more likely to support humanitarian aid to Gaza, with 80% of them voicing support for that funding compared to 58% of independents and just 38% of Republicans. 1-800-655-MIKE, 800-655-6453. You agree that rather than sending money to Ukraine, that maybe we need to be taking some of that money and finally, once and for all, securing our own border? Is this not more important than ever as we watch the terrorist, literally, there's new video footage, by the way, of Hamas in this hospital in Gaza that has been rumored to be a sort of a safe space for the terrorists. We know for a fact now, with some of the latest video that has been released, that Hamas has used that hospital as a shield. We'll share that video with you as well. If you're watching us on the Salem News Channel, which I hope you are, you'll be able to see this for yourself. We'll share that with you in just a few minutes. But as far as spending money on our southern border, as opposed to sending it to Ukraine and possibly even Israel, what are your thoughts on that?